9 runs, 14 hits, a couple of home runs to go with it. Tonight, it'll be Miguel Gonzalez on the mound, looking to go back to his winning ways against this Oakland team. Game 2 of the West Coast trip, right now. It's the Orioles on Masson, and we welcome you to the West Coast for Game 2 of this trip. We are in Oakland, where the Orioles had a big win last night. They put the ball game away early, really in the first inning, and a Chris Davis home run, and went on from there. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and welcome. For the Orioles starting out on this West Coast trip, where they always worry about what the record's going to look like when they're done, they could not have had a much better start than they had last night. Tyler Wilson gave them an outstanding start in an emergency situation for Chris Tillman, and the bats came alive. They started early, and they kept right on pounding them out. Can they continue to do that? Orioles will try it again tonight, and the way Chris Davis is going, the answer may be yes. Chris Davis is on a home run hitting tear. He has homered in the last couple of ball games. You take a look at what Crush has done against Detroit. That was number 26. That would wrap up the homestand for the Orioles at Camden Yards, and he's not just hitting home runs, he's hitting them a long way out. Then number 27, that came in the ball game last night, 3-run homer in the first inning. Right now, he is second in RBIs in the league, 7th in home runs, and he is on pace for 42 homers, 116 RBIs. Career highs, those were back in 2013 with 53 and 138. But Chris Davis is putting up, Jim Palmer, some really good numbers.
Well, he is, and he makes a difference in this lineup. The Orioles, they go on the road. They come back to Baltimore for a week. They lose the first game. Hits a 3-run home run in game number 2 against Atlanta. Hits another 2-run home run. They're still talking about the home run he hit last night. He strikes out a lot. That's Chris Davis. So 33 home runs, 53, 26. He's already now with 27. Hit more than he did last year. He's healthy. And again, when he's in the lineup, there's going to be punch-outs. The other thing that we don't look at is that he can play right field, and he made 2 real good defensive plays last night.
And back at first base right now, where he's played most of this season. Jim, on the mound tonight, Miguel Gonzalez, who has struggled in the last few outings. What's he got to do?
Well, I think he's got to use his fastball. And this is going to be his 20th start. On 19 of the starts, only 4 times has he thrown more than 100 pitches. So they use him very well. It looks like maybe, 90 to 100, then the tank runs a little bit low. So I think fastball, he's been hit hard on the curveball his last game against the Tigers after a very good ball game down in Tampa Bay. But, again, it's your offense. So Tigers can hit. Tampa Bay has struggled offensively. And as we know here in Oakland, they are struggling for a run, so let's hope he has a good night tonight.
So the Orioles will try and do what they did last night. Let's get on an Oakland team that's losing, get on them early, get them down, and then roll on. We'll see if they can do that tonight. Game 2 when we come back, Orioles and Athletics. To you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Another gorgeous evening here in the Bay Area and in Oakland. Our BGE home game time temperature is at 73 degrees and a lot of blue sky. BGE Home, Baltimore's home team for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Why would you call anyone else? Take a look at the starting lineup for the Orioles, brought to you by Southwest. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Machado, Power, and Jones, Davis, Wieters, and Hardy. Brady, Scope, Snyder gets the start tonight in left field. This season for Adam Jones, 10 games where he's put the 3 hits on the board.
And they will face Chris Bassett, 26-year-old right-hander, came over from the White Sox. So a lot of fastballs, anywhere from 90 to occasionally 95, 96. Uses his front side and throws the left arm up there. So he's been up and down 4 times this year. Started his major league career and even his minor league career as a reliever, now a starter. And you can see throws more fly balls than ground balls. And again, if you look at the numbers, he's 0-4, very low ERA, and very deceptive. And this year has not thrown many home run balls. And what do the Orioles do? They hit home runs. So it should be a pretty good matchup.
First appearance for him against the Orioles, who come into this ball game 54 and 51. They are in a 3-way tie for the 2 wild card spots. It was a 4-way tie till Minnesota lost their ball game today. So now it's the Angels, the Orioles, and Toronto who are tied for 2 wild card positions. Buck Showalter's ball club 5.5 games behind the Yankees, who are well on their way to a victory over Boston in their ball game tonight. So the Orioles ready to go after a fine ball game last night. Manny Machado will be leading it off for the Orioles, who have won 8 of their last 10 ball games. He had a 1-for-4 with an RBI in the opener last night. 26-year-old right-hander from the back of the mound up. Only Sunfield is going to be in right early on to start the ball game. Otherwise, just a beautiful evening here in Oakland. Very little breeze. Pitch is in there for a strike, and we are underway.
Yeah, he's got, when we talk about Chris Bassett, a lot of movement, so he's not bashful and throwing the breaking ball. And as we mentioned, can get into the mid-90s. There's another one, 93.
All the numbers for him are good. 33 hits in 40 innings. Strikeout ratio 12 the balls base on balls 12 to 27 there. It's only his 11th major league start. He has won only 1 major league game. His record is 1-5, and the win did not come this year. He is 0-4 this season in 5 starts.
Yeah, I think again, when he came out of college, Mercer College, they figured maybe he'd have trouble with lefties, and that's not the case. There's the breaking ball, and one of those breaking balls that out of your hand wasn't even close. So
played at Nashville AAA, went 2-7, 3.65 ERA. Opponents hit .230. It seems as though wherever he goes, he pitches well and nobody scores for him.
Exactly.
Not at the minors and not here. Pitch on the way by Bassett. Manny Machado, that hit out in front of home plate, takes the big hop. And Manny Machado is retired.
So take a look at their defense, and it's not a good one. 92 errors on the year. Chris Burns, Coco comes back, gets 2 hits last night, elbow and neck problems. Burns can go get him in center. Conha with the game winner the other day, but again, he's been struggling. Laurie, Semien, Sogard, and then Ike Davis, and then Stephen Vogt with a couple of hits last night. So again, the team's looking for offense, and usually pitching's not a problem. Last night it was.
Here is Parra. Parra with a 1-for-4 in the ball game last night as well. Parra gets the start in right field tonight, with Travis Snyder getting the start in left, and the pitch will be taken away for a ball. Parra's contributed not only by getting on base, a couple of hits since joining the ball club, as he scored 3 runs. He is 2 for 11. He's picked up a couple of strikeouts and 2 walks. And that one will be fouled straight back. For Parra, this has not been a club or a ballpark where he's enjoyed playing very much, and understandably so with the pitching in the history of this team. He's only got a 148 average against Oakland overall in his career, and only 130 here in this ballpark. Defense pretty much straight up. Center moves to left a little bit. Pitch on the way to him. Parra goes that way, and he's got a base hit. He shoots the Tony Gwynn hole, and Parra's on with a one-out single.
Yeah, it's funny. Anytime a left-hander, and they used to call that, the third baseman is 5 on your scorecard, shortstop 6, and for Tony Gwynn, it was the 5.5. 8 batting titles, Hall of Fame.
Parra can do that well.
Well, he can, and again, because he bunts enough. Of course, Bob Melvin, actually, when he managed in Arizona, had the Gerardo, and he said he's one of his favorite players because he plays with energy. Not only can he get hits, and he's a 2-time Gold Glover, but he thinks, as a former manager of Parra, that he just brings that energy to the club.
Parra's stolen 9 bases this year, none with the Orioles. He's 9 for 12 though in his National League ball games. Bassett working out of the stretch. Adam Jones up 3 for 5 in the ball game last night. Adam picked up an RBI, and that shoulder feeling better over the last 3-4 weeks, and he's hitting the ball harder. Runner not going anywhere. Swing and a miss. Bassett a good pitch down in the end.
Yeah, Gary, the one thing we always talk about, deception. They were talking about Tyler Wilson. That's what you were talking about before the break. Since he did dive for that ball and injured the front shoulder, or actually the right shoulder, the throwing shoulder. But watch the front arm of Chris Bassett. Watch how he just puts it out there.
Jones a little late on it when it was up.
I remember Freddie Garcia when he came over in that big trade, and we saw him in Seattle, and he pitched for the Orioles. Just a lot of deception. And then Chris Bassett 6'5". So arms and legs.
They're always good to have. He lost to Colorado by a run, lost to Seattle by a run, beat Cleveland by a run, lost to San Francisco by a run, and lost to Cleveland by 2 runs. That's the way it's gone for him. That'll go to short. Sending in 1 relay, Sogard. And we'll turn the double play. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. When we come back, Gonzalez to the mound. .500 here last night, smallest crowd of the year, and maybe even smaller tonight, so the Oriole fans are being heard. Take a look at the lineup for Oakland. Burns, Krisk, and Book. The Butler, Davis, and Lowry. Count against the start, did not play last night. Sogard and their shortstop, Marcus Semien, who just saw it. There's the RBI leader late.
And that lineup will face Miguel Gonzalez as Billy Burns gets ready to face him. A lot of fastballs, curveballs, sliders, change-ups, a splitter. And coming off a game where he really got pounded, 3 1/3 innings, 10 hits. So again, the ERA has gone up dramatically over the probably last 5-6 starts. Again, fly ball pitcher, good place to pitch. 18 home runs, 11 of them solo home runs.
And his first delivery will be fouled away. The rookie Burns had an 0 for 4 in the ball game last night. Switch hitter, up among the leaders in most of the rookie categories in the American League. He's .333 right-handed, .278 left. Good numbers both ways. Home run from each side. And the pitch will be taken down low. His lineup's got a lot of lefties in it. Although Gonzalez, left-handers .252 and right-handers .267, and more home runs by right-handers. So maybe a favor to Gonzalez to have lefties in it. We'll see. Had a reach for that. Turns over on it. Jonathan Schoen.
Yeah, take a look at Miguel Gonzalez. The one thing he's always been able to do is be consistent. So you look at last year, I mean, in the wins, obviously you pitch better than when you lose. But again, look at the dramatic swings. So he's been very good, not as good as last year. This year had the lowest ERA in 2014 of any of the starters. But again, when he's bad, he's bad. And that's unusual.
His ERA has jumped a full run a game from 3.23 to 4.28 this year. Coco Crisp came back to the lineup from the DL with a 2-hit ball game last night, 2 for 4. And he is 2 for 3. Lifetime off Gonzalez. And hitting in the number 2 spot, as we said, Burns, their rookie, who was leading off while Crisp was out doing so well. Melvin didn't want to move him. So Crisp moves into the number 2 spot. Another guy with outstanding speed. Into foul territory. Long run, Manny will watch, and no play on that one. A's lost their 60th ball game last night. They are 47-60. 13 games off the pace. Getting a look at some younger players even before the September call-up, especially in the pitching department. Bob Melvin, this has been a tough one. A lot of injuries, expectations not met by a number of players, especially in the offensive department. So they are taking a look for next year.
And then the bullpen.
Yeah, the bullpen. Ooh. That ball will go to the gap. Jones got a good break. Over. Diving! Adam Jones makes the catch. And Coco Crisp puts both hands up and gives him the yeah as he came around first base. Outstanding play by Adam.
Well, Coco Crisp knows how to play center field, even blowing his left. Just the jump you talked about, able to get to it. Backed up nicely by Parra, went right behind him. So if it got by him, well, again, right there you go. Of course, you better have somebody that can cover some ground here. And I was talking to Darren Bush, their hitting instructor at the cage. He said, "You guys play really shallow." And I said, "Well, because they go back well." Yeah. And Adam Jones plays about as shallow as anybody, even in a big park like this.
Here's Stephen Vogt. Gonzalez gets the first couple. Pitch is going to miss down low. Vogt finally getting off the snide with the 2 for 4 in the ball game last night, and his 0 for he came into the game with. Happy to do that. And 0 for 26 coming in, went 0 for 28, and then got a double in the 6th inning to end it. Gonzalez looking for a good, quick first inning. Shift is on against the number 3 hitter. Reddick was supposed to play tonight and bat third. He was in the original lineup. He took batting practice, and the back that kept him out of the ball game yesterday is keeping him out of the ball game again.
Yeah, both days he's actually taken batting practice, and then again, it's relatively warm compared to the way it's going to be, but the back must have tightened up.
So Josh Reddick not in the lineup again. Great delivery on the off-speed pitch.
Well, that's the splitter. There he is. And Danny Valencia to his left. Looking at the beard, picked up on waivers from Toronto. He's going to play a lot here because he's having a terrific year. It kind of gives you an idea of how good offensively the Jays are and the moves they've made that he would be available.
Pitch by Miguel will be foul back.
Well, take a look at the defense already. You can see Jonesy 4 Gold Gloves in center, Snyder in left, Parra with 2 Gold Gloves in right, Machado platinum glove, Hardy 3 consecutive Gold Gloves. So playing like a Gold Glover. And again, Chris Davis and Matt Wieters with a couple of Gold Gloves behind the plate. Best defense in the American League.
And the pitch is swung on and missed. So Gonzalez, who had given up 9 runs in the first inning, retires the side in order. And for Adam Jones, yet another highlight reel member on that catch against Crisp for the second out of the inning. third from Essex. You've won $500, John, for being selected, and you get $500 more for every Orioles home run hit in our ball game tonight. Play baseball bucks scratch-offs, win up to $50,000, or enter non-winning tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Visit mdlottery.com/baseball. Good luck, John. Good like that. The gnome is here. The hat is here. The shirt is here. What more can you ask for?
Yeah,
okay, thank you for showing me.
There we go. Orange Crush is here. And he's not wet. He is multi-orange.
Has he got an earpiece in? Okay, thank you. Put it down now. Oh, don't bite your nails. Your mother told you not to do that. For heaven's sake.
Oh, gee, who's at the plate? Crush.
Hey! Here is Chris Davis. And there's another one into right field. That is deep, and that's going to take a hop right at the base of the wall. Chris on his way to second base. Throw will not be in time. Crushing.
Yep.
A leadoff double.
Well, not too many guys can hit the top spin 363-foot line drives. Just imagine you're at Wimbledon trying to keep that top spinner in the court. And this one he would like to have elevated like yesterday.
Batting in the fifth position.
Man. Caleb Joseph was saying before the game today, and he had a home run yesterday, but he said the Orioles really barreled up in the game last night as well as they've done in any game. I mean, they hit, even their singles were coming right off the meatiest part of the bats, and that's what that was.
Well, there were a lot of hard hit balls, even though the Orioles went out of the ballpark. Even Oakland hit some balls very crisply last night. I don't mean drives that will run down the outfield, but when you had the kind of, one thing about Tyler Wilson, he pitched to contact, they got him an early lead, and he took advantage of it.
Well, now Matt Wieters gets the RBI chance. Orioles 3 for 10 in these situations last night. Matt will take an off-speed pitch. Wow, did that baby have a little break?
Yeah, he fooled Alfonso Marquez and Stephen Voigt, his catcher. He went up. He was going to the third floor, and the ball came back to the lobby.
Fortunately for him,
it's almost like he crossed him up.
Yeah, that ball had so much movement on it. Well, we were told he had a great curveball, if that's any evidence of it.
Yeah, the game I watched against Cleveland didn't, of course, maybe the last 3-4 innings didn't throw a lot of them, but when he did, very effective.
That ball to third, there's one, that'll be it. Flores standing right where he needed to be. Matt Wieters, who hits it hard, is retired.
Yeah, nice at bat, a little bit unlucky.
Time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use O's Couch Cam, and you might just see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. I'm not sure. I don't know. We'll be rechecking that as we go along tonight. Here is Hardy. JJ had a 2 for 5 in the ball game last night. Runner on at second base and one away. And JJ will get an RBI opportunity. And he's been doing a good job of that all season long with the Orioles.
Yeah, everybody got on the board last night except Matt Wieters.
Hardy 304 runners in scoring position. Sogard to move in a little bit just to get Davis back, but not that big a lead. They move the infield around a bit. Big hole between first and second base. Sogard trying to hold the runner. Bassett, the long set. Hardy will take it outside. When you're scoring as little as this Oakland team does, all of these situations right from the beginning are situations where a pitcher has to be very careful and very focused because they know they cannot afford to give up many runs. 3 really, and they're in trouble.
Well, again, the lowest run support in the major leagues. There's another breaking ball, 1.5 runs a game. And yet, and this is if you're Bob Melvin and if you're Kurt Young, pitching coach, Bob the manager, and Kurt the pitching coach, you got to be happy. His last 4 starts, he's walked 3. So he's still pitching the contact, still trusting his stuff. But you're right, they don't score for him. And 241 runners in scoring position, about 10 points below the league average, so pretty good number.
Hardy trying to get a run in here. Bassett's delivery to him and a ground ball towards the middle. Semion's got it. Will make the play over to first, and over to third goes Davis, but there are 2 away. So the Orioles a quick 0 for 2 with a chance to get a run in. That'll bring Paredes up to the plate. Bassett, we talked about the run support. Last 5 starts, his ERA is 3. He's had 9 runs in those 5 starts. As the A's have scored 1 run in 4 of his last 5. Whoa.
And they usually, if you pitch long enough, and I mean, obviously, if you don't pitch for a very good offensive team year after year, you probably won't get as many as other guys. But if you pitch long enough, eventually those numbers turn around.
And the pitch will be taken for a strike. Brady's back in his role as a DH after getting his first start in the outfield for the Orioles, as Brady's made the start in right in last night's ball game. But Showalter continuing to keep everybody involved. By Snyder's in there tonight, getting a start in left field. And the strike taken on the off-speed delivery at 83.
Yeah, so we've seen changeups, we've seen sliders, we've seen curveballs, we've seen 92, we've seen 95. He really didn't pitch that much last year. He was with the White Sox, came over from a Samardzija trade because he broke his finger early on.
Pitch on the way, and Paredes will go down to a heater. There's a case of winning a batter over by really messing up his timing. Orioles leave a runner on. United States Coast Guard being brought to you by DynCorp International. We serve today for a better tomorrow. And by Navy Federal Credit Union, proudly serving the armed forces and their families for over 80 years. Coast Guard, of course, one of America's 5 armed forces. Its roots go back to August 4, 1790. We thank all of our armed forces for their dedication to protecting the safety and security of all. Old Glory waving here in Oakland tonight as we go to the bottom half of the 2nd inning. Here's Butler. He'll take the off-speed delivery for a strike. Butler DHing 0 for 4. Ball game last night has had 1 hit in 8 at-bats against Gonzalez. Gonzalez has no record against Oakland, has pitched against them. 0-0 with a 5.68 earned run average, 2 appearances. Last started against them in 2013 here in this ballpark. Gave up 7 hits, 4 runs, and 5 1/3. Down to 3rd and 5.
Yeah, a little different offensive club. Josh Donaldson was traded for Laurie. He had 29 home runs last year. Brandon Moss, great first half, made the All-Star team. Hit 4 home runs, 173. Billy Beane said arbitration eligible. See you later. $6.5 million contract in Cleveland, then traded to the Cardinals because of Matt Halliday's injury. So they've lost a lot of offense.
And it shows. Pitch will be taken outside. They have lost 8 of their last 11. And in those 11 games are averaging 2.6 runs a game. And you're not going to win. The magic number really is 4. If you get 4, you got a real good chance to win in Major League Baseball. Less than that, you're probably going to lose. Ball put up in the air, right field, a lot of room. Parra in that bullpen area. Foul territory he's got. Butler retires.
So take a look again. You know what we talk about Miguel is he's a pitcher, a 4-pitch pitcher. So you got to use all his pitches. Splitter, Strikeout pitch, ground ball pitch, slider, very good. Fastball, look at that number. And then the curveball. So it's fine to throw it, but, you go back to his last game. Tried to get out of the first inning. Had 2 outs, couple of guys on. Hanging curveball to J.D. Martinez. Struggled in Miami. Hanging curveball to Martin Prada. So it's been a pitch that maybe you ought to use, but throw it where you don't have to throw it first strike.
Here is Ike Davis, 1 for 3 last night in RBI. Orioles coming away with a 9-2 win last night. For Miguel, last 7 starts have been tough. Last 7 starts, ERA is 6.19, and opponents have hit .338 against it in the last 7 ball games. A really high average. Check swing to go, look to third, and they get the call on that. Laz Diaz said he went around. Davis didn't think so. And Ike, 1-1.
Yeah, this is what Laz umpired well last night. Yeah, bat way out in front of home plate. Travel too far.
Laurie waiting on deck. Defense straight up on him, and Davis will take the pitch away.
Yeah, not a lot of at bats for Ike Davis. I said, how do you hurt the quad? He goes, I hit a double. I said, you what? He said, you shouldn't have done that. Should have stopped at first.
That's right. If it hurts, don't do that.
I said, hit some home runs. He said, well, I used to do that.
That one off the fist.
And he did. He was a home run guy for the Mets.
He's got 3 this year, 3 home runs, 190 at bats, 15 doubles among the extra base hits. One-two delivery on the way, and that one will be in the dirt.
Yeah, see, those is where you use the curveball. I mean, that was just, I'm going to try to strike you out. I'm going to throw it, bury it in the underneath the strike zone. Really good break, but the one that you just throws for a strike, it seems like it gets hit. And also his sliders, we saw the numbers. It's better. I think really he could pretty much pitch with his fastball and splitter. Just show him the other pitches. There's
and
a splitter.
A swing and a miss, a good one. That's the off-speed pitch.
Hey, when Miguel Gonzalez is at his best, it's going to be very much like Tyler Wilson, but more velocity. And then he's got this pitch. This is the swing and miss. Fastballs in, fastballs away, and then the tumbling, dropping splitter.
Gonzalez is coming off the second shortest start of his career in that last outing. He went only 3 1/3 against Detroit, 5 runs, 10 hits. Here is Laurie, who is an 0 for 3 in the ballgame last night. He's faced Gonzalez a lot. 2 for 18 against the Oriole right-hander. No score here in the bottom of the second inning. Game 2 of this 3-game set. T.J. McFarland called back up by the Orioles. Added to the roster. Tyler Wilson taken off the roster, but still here as the Orioles are expecting Chris Tillman to be able to make the start on Friday. And we'll see. The ankle's better, not 100%. Swing and a miss, good heater at 91. There's TJ in the middle. TJ McFarland, up, down, up, down, up, down. It's been a yo-yo season, but any opportunity he gets to be here, you take it. He will help the Orioles both because he's left-handed and he can do the long relief work for them. And thought about it outside, didn't go after it.
Okay, once again, that's, I'm not sure. I guess it counts. I thought it was maybe 2-2, but it's 3-1. So a good curveball, but didn't throw it for a strike.
Laurie waiting on it. And really tried to drive one aggressive and fouls it back.
Well, you know, sometimes when you're struggling a little bit, you get your pitch and you just foul it back. Now, this is supposed to be in, but it's not in. And that's a extra base home run swing. As you mentioned last night, but Laurie has 10 lifetime against the Orioles. And when he came up, it didn't matter, Gary. Right center, left center. He hit some long home runs.
Pitch will be away. So Gonzalez will surrender the walk. Comes with 2 down. That'll be the first base runner for Oakland in the ball game. Laurie is tough to walk. He doesn't give you a chance very often. He's got 90 strikeouts and 18 walks.
Right fielder.
That was the 18th. Canna coming to the plate. He was not supposed to play in the ball game tonight, but when Josh Reddick had that back tighten up on him, Mark Canna was added to the lineup, making the start in right field where Reddick would have been. He's up with a runner on at first base and 2 down. Gonzalez, fastball is going to miss up high. Canna's only hit 103 since the All-Star break, 3 for 29.
Yeah, he had it, and it was worse than that. He had a 2 for 32 and hit the walk-off in the 10th inning, double. Sam Fold at reach base.
Canna, great year last year at AAA New Orleans. Hit over 300. He was 303 last year. He had 20 home runs and 82 RBIs in 127 games.
Yeah, and then he went in the Rule 5 draft. That was out of the Marlins organization. Colorado took him, and then Billy Beane, head of baseball operations here, worked a trade.
Not a big lead at first base. Runner not going, and that'll be fouled back into the screen.
See, there's another big swing. You got to read that. Doesn't mean you don't throw in fastballs. That's what that was. It's just you don't throw it in that neighborhood. Yeah, you talk to everybody here. Ray Fosse, former catcher who does their TV and radio. I said, tell me about Canna. And he goes, long swing.
And you've seen it. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Towering pop up inside of third. That's headed to the seats. And that's where it'll end up. This Oakland team coming in 8th in average. They are 11th in runs in the league. Next to last in home runs. They have 84. You compare that to the Orioles 134. Bob Melvin's ball club offense not only hasn't been there most of the year, but it's gotten worse since the All-Star break, as virtually everybody in this lineup is really struggling. I mean, since the All-Star break, there are a lot of numbers well under 200 with not much power. Delivery on the way by Gonzalez. That'll be outside.
Yeah, those are the pitches that, to young hitters, you have to be able to execute. You've seen 2 good swings, inside middle fastballs. That's what most guys that can hit in the minor leagues can hit. But can you execute your breaking ball? That will usually do the deal.
Mark Canna, out of San Jose, California, born, raised, and still lives there. 26 years old. 2-2 the count. And that one's going to be fouled away. Throughout the year, Gonzalez has had more problems working out of the stretch than the windup. When he's in the stretch, opponents have hit 307 against him. Only 232. And there's nobody on base. Two ball, 2 strike count. Laurie on at first base with a walk, not going anywhere. Canna will pop that one up in the air. Jonathan Scope. And he's got it. And that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. Pitchers in control so far. couple of former Orioles on it right now. Hitting streaks, Nelson Cruz, number 1. Abreu, Headley, and then you got Nick Markakis with Atlanta. 11 straight for him. Those are the hit streaks. For consecutive games reaching base, Mark Teixeira, 21 now. Curtis Granderson, Nelson Cruz again, and Dexter Fowler with Chicago at 17. Those are the leaders in hits and getting on base currently.
Yeah, for Teixeira, does it count? I guess if you just touch all 4 bases coming around on home runs, that counts as reaching, even though you don't stop.
13-3, the Yankees beat the Red Sox.
And it was 3-2 in about the 5th inning.
No score in this one. Here's Jonathan Scope. He will take the pitch from Bassett for his strike. 3-game hit streak for Jonathan. He continued it with a 3-for-4 in the ball game last night. And the breaking ball will miss down low. With the streak, Scope has gone 6 for his last 10 and has some power.
Yeah, he's looking for something up, and Chris Bassett is trying to stay down in the zone. They slide to the inside corner. And again, just movement. I don't know if anything that this kid does that you don't like. I mean, he throws strikes. He has good stuff. He's got 4 pitches. But he's making the major league minimum.
And that's there for a strike. So Bassett, last 2 hitters he has struck out.
Yeah, this is all about your advanced scouting and going, okay, we want to trade Samardzija. He makes too much money. He's going to be a free agent. And take a look right here, and he just paints the inside corner.
Travis Snyder.
That'll bring Travis Snyder up, hitting in the 9 spot, playing in left field in the ball game. Snyder, month of July, only 3 hits in 34 at bats. Not a lot of playing time. And the pitch will be taken inside. The left-handers against Bassett have struggled. 205. Right-handers 50 points higher. And he'll work inside outside to start him out, and will miss with it.
Yeah, that's why they thought he was going to be a reliever, because he couldn't get lefties out. And the irony is that he's done a nice job of that. Well, really, both sides.
224 opponent batting average. Better than good. Pitch on the way, and that is in there for a strike.
And that's pitching right there. You're looking 93, 95. He throws you a straight changeup.
He moves it around well. He's inside, outside, up, down. Looks like he can locate.
Well, what impresses me, again, just the deception. Just the way he uses his front side, throws that big, long 6'5" arm out there.
Down to first and just foul.
And that's allowed. You're allowed, not when the runner's on base. You can't deceive them because it's a balk. But otherwise, deception's a big deal.
Yeah.
There you go. Bob Melvin to the right. Kurt Young, pitching coach, to his right, our left.
Bassett's delivery on the way, and there's that off-speed delivery, which he really telegraphed that time. And 3-ball, 2-strike count. Called overselling. Waiting on deck, Manny Machado. Full count delivery on the way, and he walked him. Orioles will take that. So they get a runner on with 1 away as you turn the order over. When the Orioles return home next Friday, August 14, don't miss the season's next fireworks night. The A's will be in town. And after the game, a great fireworks display presented by Baltimore Area Credit Unions. Tickets at Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Manny Machado grounded out his first time up. Maryland on hand. Unfurling the flag, and a breaking ball is in there for a strike. Manny grounding out his first time up. Looking at the different positions today, the Orioles have used so many players, so many different positions. There's one position where they've used one player for every single game, and you're looking at him. Pitch on the way, another breaking ball, and that's in there for a strike, and that froze me.
Yeah, it's about 21, 22 miles per hour slower than his fastball. And right on the outside third of the plate.
At first base, Travis Snyder. Bassett with the 0-2 delivery. Thought he had him. Bassett was dancing. Alfonso Marquez thought about it. Could have gone either way. Which is the way Marquez has historically umpired. He is one of the most favorable to hitter umpires in the game.
Really?
Pitch will be outside.
And I thought Alfonso was a nice guy.
He is.
Not if you're a pitcher, former pitcher. You still don't like him. I want those. Anything close. What do you mean he was in the other batter's box? What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? Can we see the black of the plate? Anybody dig out the black of the plate in this game or not? I don't think so.
I don't think. Not anymore.
Runner off first, throw over to get him back. There is a black of the plate. It used to be.
Yeah,
it'd get hidden in the dirt.
Yeah.
You couldn't see it.
I think was it late John McSherry used to actually take,
yes,
and he would, you dust the plate off, and then he would take the little edge.
Yeah,
that was to the pitchers. Hey, hit that, and you got a strike.
And that'll be outside.
He might have told Maddox and Glavine and all those guys. They lived on the black.
He wanted to make sure.
Well, that's the term in baseball.
Yeah.
Where was that pitch? On the black.
Real good battle going on here. Manny Machado and Bassett. 3-2, and again the throw over. The other positions, the Orioles, looking to see how many Orioles have played in different positions. There have been 7 left fielders. Now these are starters. 7 left fielders, 8 right fielders, 6 second basemen, and 8 DHs, and 1 third baseman. Steve Martin would say, all I need. Ground ball down to third on the big hop. Harry's got it. Runner was going. So they'll get the out there, and Snyder goes down to second. Well, we're talking about Manny Machado. Always the argument with the home run derby at the All-Star game. Does it affect hitters in the second half if they're in the home run derby as far as hitting homers? Well, here's a look. For Peterson, he was averaging, you see, a home run every 15 at bats. Since 1 in 55. These were the 2 finalists. Todd Frazier, 1 in every 13.7 cents, up to 30 at bats. And Manny Machado the other way. Manny didn't seem to be affected at all. He had 1 every 17.8 before. He's got 1 every 16.3 cents. There's the ongoing argument about that. And players, managers, owners, GMs will go one way and then the other on it. But that's what it looks like this year.
Yeah, well, Jock Peterson, gifted rookie year, strikes out a lot. Last time I looked, it was coming up to 140.
Here is Parra, who will take the pitch outside. The Orioles already 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position, get their 4th chance. Parra had a base hit his first time up.
Yeah, that full count to Manny Machado allowed Travis Snyder, who's not going to be running other than that, to be on the move. Otherwise, you don't get him in the scoring position.
This is Parra's just his second chance with the Orioles in these situations. 0 for 1. Takes the pitch on the inside corner for a strike. Up to 42 pitches thrown here by Bassett so far in the ball game. It's an amazing number on Bassett today. We'll see if it holds true. After he throws 45 pitches, the opponent batting average jumps to 328 against him. I don't know what that is, because overall it's 224, but and 45 is a very low pitch.
So that's usually kind of around the second time through the order, which is what you're seeing here. And he's pretty efficient, 16.4 per inning.
Big lead at second for Snyder. That's going to go to left field, and a diving catch made. Welcome back, Coco Crisp. His second game since middle of May. He started last night and shows some leather in this one. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base to go to the bottom of the 3rd. Northwest.com. And by your local Mercedes
for the
dealership.
Athletics. Batting in the 8th position, second baseman, number 28, Eric Silgar.
Wherever you go, you'll see it. The Orioles Hawaiian shirt, global in its reach. Gonzalez, 8-9-1 due up against him. Sogard will take the pitch up high for a ball. Sogard leading it off here in number 8 spot at an 0 for 3 in the ball game last night. And the off-speed delivery is going to miss up high. Gonzalez has had a tale of 2 seasons. April and May were outstanding. He went 5-3. Opponents were hitting only about .220 against him. ERA was 3.47 over the first 2 months. And then it just started to jump on Miguel. He went 1-2 in June. ERA was 5 3/4. Average jumped to 2.96 in July. Even though he went 3-2, the opponents hit 318 against him in July. That'll be fouled back for the strike.
Well, the saver has been that they have scored a lot of runs when he pitches on most occasions. I mean, they're up there just a little bit shy of 6 runs a game. So when he pitches, they usually score. I don't think that's going to be the case tonight. That certainly could change. And who cares? Just pitch well. He's capable of doing it. But you're right about the ERAs. 5.75 in June, 5 runs a game. And again, the inconsistency, that's not like him. And they really protected him. Only 4 of his 19 starts with more than 100 pitches.
3-2 delivery on the way. Ball put up in the air towards left center. Adam Jones so shallow. Could almost walk over and put that one away. The Sogard retired. 70% of leadoff batters have been retired by Gonzalez this year. Really good number for Miguel.
That's the best of all the starters.
Yeah.
I mean, the relievers have done O'Day way up there.
That'll bring Marcus Semien to the plate, the shortstop. He had an 0 for 3 in the ball game last night. Semien will take the pitch outside for a ball. Semien, like the rest of the ball club, having his struggles at the plate. 173 since the All-Star break. Swing and a miss and a heater up high.
Yeah, and then you get aggressive. Again, Darren Bush saying, hey, use the center of the field. And it's frustrating in this park. Josh Reddick, who's played here a number of years, we first saw him with the Red Sox, not playing because of the back spasm.
That one up in the air to left field, but it was off the end of the bat. It'll stay in the yard, and Snyder gets it for the out. Couple of fly ball outs here. On Saturday, August 15, the first 20,000 fans 15 and over get the J.J. Hardy orange replica jersey. Birds take on the A's 7:05. Add to your Birdland wardrobe. Detail replica, the O's popular alternate jersey. Tickets, Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. 2 down, 60% of the outs Gonzalez has this year in the air. Line drives or fly balls. Top of the order, and the rookie, Billy Burns, goes after one. And files a right straight back, grounded out his first time up.
Yeah, he really is the igniter of this offense if it's going to get ignited. Because he can steal bases, 21 of them. Loves to hit here, 342. Came up, in fact, he's a natural right-handed hitter. But started switch hitting back in 2011.
That one got him. Nowhere to go. Just turn around and whammo.
Well, it may be a double, even though they don't run off of Miguel Gonzalez very often. Only attempted 2 stolen bases all year. But see, when he doesn't get his left shoulder closed, that's where the direction of his body and his arm goes. Away to righties into lefties.
So Burns is on, hit by a pitch. Both these pitchers not afraid to pitch inside, evidenced by the fact that is the 7th hit batter by Gonzalez. Bassett on the other side has hit 5. So at 2 down, Chris robbed of a hit by Jones his first time up. And obviously taking a look at Burns.
And you talked about it, Bob Melvin talking yesterday that, okay, Billy Burns with the 21 steals, Coco Crisp coming off the DL, 4 for 19 in his rehabs. If you get Burns at first, and he's a good fastball hitter, and he has surprising power. Not a home run hitter, but he can hit home runs.
Real good lead at first. Burns not going. Crisp showing bunt. That would have been for a base hit if he meant it. Burns is second in the league in stolen bases. Jose Altuve Houston's got 28. Burns has got 21. Lorenzo Cain, Royals with 19. Jared Dyson, his teammate, right behind him with 18. Manny Machado trying to take the bunt away even with 2 down is in at third base on the grass. And again, the distraction of having speed over there at first base.
Yeah, and then Coco, the ability, because he's a veteran, cagey little pest. He hits the grills really well, but he's smart enough, and they play him so shallow. I mean, Parr really shallow in right field, but he can look for pitches, and I'm not sure he can get him from first to third here because Parr is playing so shallow and they pitch out. Yeah,
and he saw it. He might have been going, but he saw that and stepped back. In the minor leagues for Burns, he had as many as 54 stolen bases one year, 51 Midland, Texas, and another year major league level, 3 stolen bases in the first 13 games he played with Oakland. Now back at it again this year. Coco did not get a good look at that one. Good pitch by Gonzalez on the half swing strike, and a 1-ball 2-strike count, and a good job by Miguel keeping Burns over there at first base from going.
Well, he's quick to home. He holds the runner. I mean, if you're a catcher, Rick Dempsey used to always say, give me a chance. And how do you do that? You hold the ball, you throw over there. Don't let him get a running lead. You know he's going to have a big lead because he's a base stealer. Just don't let him start leaning. And if he does, hold it.
There he goes. And there it goes. That'll be a base hit into left field. Burns on his way to third. And there'll be no play there. They'll throw to second to hold the runner at first. So Chris comes through. They had the shift on in the infield. He hit against it and picks up a single, his third hit in the 2 ball games.
Coco Crisp is a player. I mean, he's been up close to 5,400 times, so he knows how to hit. I mean, it's just protected. 2 strikes. If you strike out, we talk about it all the time, and pitchers want you to overswing. He didn't. He just poked it. Think how many times the Tigers did that over the weekend. That 4-game series, just took the ball the other way, put it in contact, and get on for the big guys.
So a chance for the A's. 1 for 7 runners in scoring position last night. The A's left 5 on in the ball game. Vogt gets the chance. A number 3 hitter, swinging strikeout victim, his first time up. First and third, 2 down. And Vogt will take it inside for a ball.
Well, the simplest thing, you get ahead of Billy Burns and then you drill him. That's exactly what they wanted. Struggling for runs, base on balls, hit batters. When they don't hit the ball out of the ballpark, those are free passes. Maybe a painful one, but you get the first.
You're on.
Yep.
Big numbers for Vogt with runners in scoring position, 10th best in the American League. And the pitch is there for a strike. So the A's trying to get on the board. The way they play, this is when you got to come up with a big hit. They don't get a lot of these chances, and even with 2 down, try to find a way to get a run in.
Yeah, and they know who's pitching for them. They know that Bassett usually pitches well. You don't need a lot of offense, you just need some.
Vogt will foul that one back, and Gonzalez on the 93-mile-an-hour fastball will get ahead on the count 1-2. Well, Miguel where he wants it here.
Yeah, for Miguel, 269 with runners in scoring position over the league average is a high number. And that number's certainly come up in his struggles.
Vogt will back out. Matt Wieters going out.
Yeah, this is really the signs. What's going to happen if Chris takes off? You know, you have a situation if you're Bob Melvin where you can put a lot of pressure on the defense. So what are we going to do?
And Wieters is going to go out and make sure on what they want to do here with Miguel Gonzalez.
And what makes it hard is that the Orioles practice this. I mean, we were talking the other day. anybody you talk to says, hey, we've already practiced this. The cutoffs, the relays, we practiced it. But when you have speed at third with Billy Burns, you can practice all you want.
If you throw, he's going to go.
Yeah, you would think so.
1-2 delivery. Chris not going anywhere. Bouncer, good hold. Wieters finds it. Make sure everybody stays right where they are. That saves a run. As Matt got the body down on that one and held it on the first base side. For a pitcher, that's what makes it sweet. Throw those kind of pitches even in this situation and believe the guy behind the plate's going to save you from a run. So the count goes 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Vogt will step out. Burns and Crisp are the base runners, first and third. Delivery to Vogt. Breaking ball.
And a good one.
Bounce. Good pitch. Almost had him going at it. So 3-2, and that will send Crisp from first base.
So if you're Miguel, I mean, you do have a base open. Not that you're going to use it as such, but you got to throw a strike because it's 3-2. You let Crisp, who was not running, he will be running. So double scores him with his speed.
Three-two delivery on the way, and he got him with a pitch that just collapsed on Vogt. Runners left at first and third.
Thank you to the United States Coast Guard and all military.
How'd you like to be in the middle of those three that were up there with that big horn ready to go? Look out. Gary Thorne, Jim Palmer with you. Gonzalez and Bassett locked up in a good one through the first 3 innings. 0-2-0 the Orioles. And just one base hit. Coco Crisp picking it up on the Oakland side. 26-year-old right-hander Chris Bassett. Adam Jones at the plate. Adam will take the pitch on the inside corner for a strike. Adam grounded into a double play his first time up. Adam on the road this year, coming into the ball game hitting .305 in road games. 9th highest average on the road in the American League. And Bassett has advertised so far tough.
Well, to the righties, he just throws that 2-seamer down and in, and it's hard to get to it.
Adam Jones, and there again, throttle back. Adam off balance.
And he's not afraid to go from 93 to 70 or 69.
And looks at Vogt. the catcher and smiles a little bit. That time a ground ball that he was jammed on. Simeon will make the play at a short hop that one. Take a look at our Maryland Live Casino inside the numbers as you look at Chris Davis.
So there you go, 10 game stretches. Chris Davis this year, Chris Davis 2 years ago, Albert Bell, and then a junior back in 1996. The Orioles went to the postseason as a wild card team.
Double first time up, and it was a rat-a-tat-tat. He clubbed it, one hop off the right field fence. Inside to him, how hot is he? Well, over the last 13 games, his slugging percentage is .833 coming into this game. Now, Mike Trout's the leader in slugging in the league on the year, and a very good .624. Chris at .833 during this streak. 8 home runs, 22 RBIs in 13 games. And the pitch will be taken up high. Infield moved around on him. Sogard out shallow right field. All these hitters facing Chris Bassitt for the first time as he faces the Orioles for the first time.
And anything out over the plate is in the hot zone for Chris Davis, the way he's swinging the bat. They're trying to come in with something.
And a good heater at 93.
Yeah, Stephen Vogt, the catcher, was saying, I still can't believe not that he hit the home run, because Chris Davis can hit a long home runs. He said, but take a ball that high and hit it out of here and hit it that far.
Again, trying to move him off the plate, keep the feet dancing. And he did, but the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. Josh Donaldson, the leader in RBIs starting today, with 77, and Chris was 75. Right behind him. Get Bechara, Morales, J.D. Martinez all bunched together in the RBI lead. And Bassitt decides better to put him on first base here. A 1-out walk. That's the second walk surrendered by Chris Bassitt. On Sunday, August 16, the O's take on these A's. The first 7,500 fans, 14 and under, get the Chris Tillman Growth Poster, presented by Tops. See how your child measures up to the 6'5" O's hurler. Great fun, life-size poster. And you can get your tickets for the game at Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Matt Wieters lined out the third, his first time up. And the pitch taken away for a ball.
Yeah, I think Chris Bassitt, you bring up a good point. He walked Travis Snyder, didn't want to do that, but once you get behind him, either make my pitch to Chris Davis in a 0-0 game, or you'll take your chances with Matt Wieters.
Throw down to first base and diving back in. Both more than willing to make the attempt right there, as he had Ike Davis moving in behind Chris.
Yeah, tough throw because Matt's there, and it's either hit him.
For Matt, this has been the side for the offense. 271, couple of home runs. Pitch away, hitting only 250 right-handed. Now Wieters back behind the plate. DH work in the ball game. 0 for 5 last night. Short lead at first base for Chris Davis. And Wieters will foul that one back.
Yeah, veteran player. Rexall Alder saying, I'll let him swing 3-0. Get something to hit up a gap, maybe out of here.
Rule for Buck Showalter on hitters. They have the green light unless I take it off. Pitch on the way, and Wieters will put the ball up in the air, left field. Chris. Wieters retired, 2 down. Well, those fans never miss a game update, behind the scenes moment, or exclusive contest. Follow Masson Orioles on Twitter for all the latest Orioles buzz. Again, that's Masson Orioles on Twitter. Big news today that broke this afternoon. Dave Dombrowski, of course, who was in Baltimore for the Detroit series, let go by the Detroit Tigers, so their GM gone. Avila moves into the spot, apparently on a permanent basis.
Well, he's been his assistant for years.
Yep. Good
Owner
baseball
Mike
man.
Ilitch said that he wanted Dave to be able to pursue other opportunities.
That's the old, we're going in another direction. J.J. Hardy grounded out first time up. Davis on at first base. There are two down, no score. Hardy will put it up in the air, second base. Sogard. And he's got it. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one left on. Orioles have started 3, only one in scoring position. 3 left on by Oakland, the same one in scoring position. Of Maryland University College. They bring us this moment in history. 1908, the Cardinals defeated the Brooklyn Dodgers 3-0. Count them. 1 baseball was used for the entire game. I was just talking to Jim. They rub up 6 dozen baseballs for games now and use most of them. 1985, the Yankees retired the Scooters number. Phil Rizzuto, he got a cow wearing a halo in the pregame ceremony because his favorite saying was "Holy cow." And the cow knocked him over during the ceremonies on the field.
Well, Scooter was a tiny guy.
He was, and the cow was big.
Yeah, apparently I think the average amount of balls are used somewhere around 72. They're supposed to have maybe 90 available just in case. But they throw them out for. I used to, when I pitched, balls hit to the outfield, they'd throw it in. It would sit there. You'd do your 9 warm-ups, and then you'd use it. Now, very rarely does that ever happen. If the ball ever touches the dirt, other than maybe a ground ball, see you later.
It's out. Imagine trying to play a whole game with 1 baseball in this day and age.
Well, if you were pitching, you'd love it because it'd be all scuffed up. Don Sutton's autograph would be on it.
Save you a lot of work.
Yeah, right, exactly.
There you have the bag of balls right there, ready for the game. 3-0 count. Taking all the way, and those weren't close. That's the ever dangerous leadoff walk, and Butler gets it. Our PNC minor league report.
No, so John Means, nice little game. He's already pitched a no-hitter this year. He's breathing and left-handed. You got to like that. You know, if you're left-handed, that means that as long as you can stay healthy, you're going to have an opportunity to move up the ladder. But the 7-inning no-hitter.
7 innings played, doubleheader games in the minors. Ike Davis, strikeout victim, his first time up. Leadoff man on for the first time for the Oakland A's in the ball game. That'll be fouled away. Pitchers really dominating here in this game. Bassett's walked 2, struck out 2. Gonzalez 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. But Coco Crisp still the only hit in the ball game. A single came in the 3rd inning. And the A's got the only runner in scoring position. And the pitch will be taken inside, back him off a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's why it's somewhat critical not to do what he did, which is the only good news of walking Billy Butler is that he doesn't have a lot of speed. It's the only. happening that I can think of in a nothing game.
Yeah, and it allows Chris Davis to play behind the runner because of that lack of speed, rather than holding him with a left-handed batter up. That one's going to be inside.
Well, run support can really help you in winning games and maybe getting you into the 5th, 6th, 6 2/3 innings. But when you don't get them, they're all those little things. Lead off batters, you talk about it all the time, and they can make the difference. Can be unlucky.
Little chopper foul.
Nice
So Gonzalez comes back on him.
Yeah, a little split-fingered fastball.
2-ball, 2-strike count. He's got that splitter working. Along with that fastball, thrown both for strikes. That's
well, they look the same when they're thrown right, and you know, the curveball's different. He got out of the inning. The Vogt strikeout was on a good slider, 3-2 slider, perfectly executed in.
2-2, runner not going at first. Ground ball to the middle. Hardy's there. There's one. Jonathan Scope playing a tunnel. There's the double play.
And then a good pitch right there. So you walk Billy Butler. Miguel didn't want to do it, did it. And then you make a good pitch, and then you let your defense. I think Hardy thought he might be able to catch it, but it carried him just far enough where he could flip it to Jonathan Scope and then let the strong arm turn 2.
And the value of positioning, how important it is. You saw where J.J. Hardy was. If he's where he normally, which there isn't anymore, I guess, normal. But if he's there at the shortstop right now where J.J. is standing, he doesn't get that ball. But they moved him around to the middle, squeezed the middle, and that's exactly where it was hit. Laurie up, that'll bounce. Space is empty, and 2 down here in the 4th inning. Bobby Dickerson in charge of the infield. Like Showalter was saying before the game today, said I get a chance to watch a lot of good baseball. Said I don't even need to be out there.
Yeah, and the other factor is that it's the position of the ball. I mean, he made a perfect pitch, so like David, pull hitter, trying to pull, couldn't quite pull it, and that's part of your conditioning.
That one over in that big foul territory area, but that'll be off the top. What Buck was meaning was he's got such a great coaching staff. He says, I rely on them. Bobby Dickerson takes care of the infield. Wayne Kirby takes care of the outfield. He said, I've got John Russell who could manage a game right now, and Dave Wallace who can handle the pitching. So he says, we meet, we get all that taken care of before the game starts, and then away we go. And there aren't many questions that come up in the course of the game because of that preparation.
Well, we know Buck's coming back next year.
You do?
Yeah, and he's got a long-term deal all the way. Well, I mean, he's under contract.
Yeah.
Coach is a whole little different story. So.
Swing and a miss. Good location up and in.
You would hope they would come back. They certainly work well as a team.
I don't think there'll be any problem with that. I don't think. But then again, if you're in Detroit and you win a lot of division titles, go to the World Series, get fired. Pitch on the way, and that ball off the end of the bat too. That'll go to left field.
Yeah, I don't think he sees it. Come on.
No, somebody going to help. Jones! Nice cover. Adam Jones as Snyder with his arms up saying, I cannot see it. But it was high enough for Adam Jones to be able to come over and take care of it. Look how far he had to come. Travis, where is it? There's a ball up there. Adam. Got it. Good D, and again, Mazda do-ups. Brady, Scope, and Snyder. $200 to the March of Dimes, 260 walks, $13,000. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. Miguel Gonzalez working through the first 4 innings. 1 hit. Ground ball fouled off by Paredes. Scope and Snyder due up for the Orioles here in the 5th inning. As the Orioles and A's meeting for the first time on the season, the A's will reciprocate with a 4-game set coming up at the end of the month. It'll be Camden Yards. Chris Bassett with the 1-1 delivery, and that's going to be down low. Orioles have made hay this season on ball clubs that are playing below 500. They put up some good numbers, 39 and 23 against teams with losing records. But they are 15 and 28 against teams 500 or over. And that changes, of course, day to day, depending on where the ball clubs are in that 500 mark. Beat the teams you're supposed to. And a swing and a miss. Yeah, we welcome those of you who are watching the Nationals in their victory. A 5-4 win. That's also won their ball game. Good to have you with us here in Oakland, where it is a scoreless ball game in the top of the 5th inning. Gonzalez and Chris Bassett locked up in a good one. There are the starting pitchers' numbers so far in this ball game. Gary Thorne, Jim Palmer with you. A little nighttime baseball. Here's Jonathan Scope. Bassett with a breaking ball in there for a strike. Striking out Paredes to start the inning, his 3rd strikeout. He's now got 30 strikeouts in 45 innings worked. Another breaking ball away.
Yeah, he started him away the first time and then eventually would strike him out and eat high inside corner.
Jonathan to be followed by Travis Snyder. That one is short and a base hit. That'll go into the gap. Coco Crisp over to get it. Scope continues hitting the ball hard. He's got a 4-game hit streak, and he's gone 4 for 6 first 2 games of this series. Well, the Orioles' upcoming schedule is brought to you by Mile One Automotive, offering you 20 convenient locations throughout the Baltimore area. Visit them in store or online at mile1.com. Tomorrow, noontime game local, and then on to face the Angels after a day off. Ooh, yeah, 12:30 local tomorrow. Yes, sirree, bub.
8:45 bus.
Yes, sir. Love those. Love them at about 3:30.
I'll knock on your door. Make sure you're just getting up as the bus leaves.
How many alarms will we set? It'll be Wei and Chen 5 and 6. Kendall Graveman on the mound 6 and 7 for the businessman special tomorrow. Travis Snyder drew a walk his first time up. He's waiting at the plate. On at first, Jonathan Scope.
I'd love to be able to create a 1st and 3rd situation if you can. What a beautiful sky that is.
Little breeze blowing out to left right now. Pitch will be taken down low. Jonathan Scope on at first base. Has done a little bit of running this season. You got a scoreless ball game here, though. He's picked up just the 1 stolen base. And while he's over there, you get that hole between 1st and 2nd for Snyder.
I'd like to think that maybe he, in this 2-out count, he could look for ball inside half. That one's up and away.
And the 93 by Bassett, up to 71 pitches thrown.
So does he get the swing? Really struggling. You know you're going to get a fastball. Or, with Manny on deck, you hope that he'll walk.
He took it, and it's in there for a strike.
But the one thing about taking a strike, he did it the right way. I mean, it was like he was simulating that maybe he was going to swing.
Travis Snyder, 231 hitter in this ballpark lifetime. Goes after one that had some sink on it and kept down. And a 3-ball, 2-strike count. So now looking over to Bobby Dickerson at third is Jonathan Scope from first.
Well, Voit throws well. You have a guy that's really not been able to catch up with 92 or 3 for the last month. And then one of the best hitters in baseball. I'm not sure he runs here.
Runner not going, and a swing and a miss, and that's why.
And that's why. Yep. You know, you just got to understand your players. And Travis Snyder's going to be in there. And then Bassett just goes, I mean, okay, what do I do? Well, that was late on my 3-1 pitch. I'll throw him another one. Swing through it.
2 down, 2 strikeouts in the inning, 4 in the ball game. Manny Machado, he has grounded out twice, 1 for 6 in the 2 games so far. And he's done good damage against the A's in his young career. .323 career hitter, a couple of home runs against them. Manny coming into the day 6th in runs, 9th in hits, and 9th in slugging in the American League. Scope extends a little bit at first. Up the middle, that's going to be a base hit. He'll make the turn. Ball slows down in the outfield. Burns, though, charges to hold him at second base. So Manny Machado's on. That'll put runners on at first and second.
Yeah, pretty routine. I mean, he just gets one up, doesn't get it in. Man, he hits it right back up the middle. When he's swinging well, that's where the ball usually goes.
Let's see if the Orioles can find a run here. Their second inning where they've gotten somebody in scoring position.
Gerardo, I mean, he singled the first time. Crisp saved the run with a fabulous play the next time and another line drive.
Barra with the base hit. Will go after the first pitch, and that's almost unhittable.
Yep, it was.
Really great pitch, movement, location.
And then he's talking to himself. Those are the kind of pitches. If you're a hitter, you go, okay, I chased. It's also, you're glad you didn't put it in play because it was that good.
Barra takes another breaking ball further inside. Orioles 0 for 4 tonight with these chances in this scoreless ball game.
Well, a lot of their hitting travails in the month of July was because of the runner in scoring position numbers. Roared into the month about 318, and by the end of the month it was down to 284.
Runners on first and second base. Parra had to wait on it. Got fooled. Flip made, and Bassett gets it to Davis for the out. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. 2 are left on base. Pitcher's game, zip. .36 per game. That is the fewest in the majors. They're in first place. Entering today, Mets and Nationals had the worst among winning percentages of the 6 division leaders. And how about the Twins? Another loss today. 5-11 since the All-Star break. You see the numbers before and after. Amazing what a drop-off that has been for Paul Molitor's team.
Well, it is, and we saw them when they were hot at home. They play very well there. The Mets are able to stay afloat because they have the third best pitching in the National League, and they have scored more than they have given up. So
which is amazing.
Yeah. And then the Nationals have had all kinds of injuries.
Gonzalez, first pitch going to be high in the air. Mark Canha, shortstop. Hardy, he's got pitch in and out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Canha 0 for 2 and a couple of pop-outs.
Yeah, in California, you wish it was a rainmaker.
Yeah.
They need water.
Firefighters here in California, magnificent work here on some 20-plus fires still burning throughout the state. There are the numbers on Gonzalez so far in the ball game.
28, Eric Sogard.
Eric Sogard coming up. He flied out to center field his first time up. Sogard with a .245 batting average, but he too in the throes of hitting problems. 188 since the All-Star break. Sogard will take it for a strike at the knees. Orioles 31-year-old right-hander, 10-9 last year. He's after his 10th win this season, if he can get one here tonight. That ball down the line, will it stay fair? Answer, yes. 340 and a bounce into the corner, chased down by Parra into second base with a double. Just the second hit for the A's.
Well, we told you again that the number that pops out when you look at all which pitches get hit off of Miguel Gonzalez. And remember, this is a 0-0 game. It's a curveball. And what was that pitch? 386. And this is just a hanger to a guy with a slow bat. So it's great if you bounce it. He didn't. And all of a sudden, the A's in a 0-0 game what they want.
So, chance to get a run in. Marcus Semien batting 9th. Their shortstop. Flied out to left field his first time up. Scope will hold the runner close at second. And will take the pitch for a strike as that one cuts across the outside corner. Runners in the 3rd inning. Got the 1st and 3rd with 2 down. Both struck out. And that's been their only chance with a runner in scoring position tonight. And that one same place, same result. 2 real good pitches made by Gonzalez. Semien hitting only 183 in the month of July. 165 on the year with runners in scoring position. Shortstop swings through it. Boy, did Gonzalez take care of him in a hurry. That's 4 Ks.
Yeah, so you hang the curveball and then you just put it in your back pocket and make a good pitch. Slider down and away, fastball down and away. We showed you the makeup of the pitches tonight. Over 70% fastballs.
Runner at second, but now there are 2 down. Leadoff batter Billy Burns. He has grounded out and hit by a pitch. Looking for his first hit of these games. 0 for 5. Hardy will now try and keep the runner a little close, and that's going to be a base hit. Adam Jones is shallow. They're going to send him home. Here's the throw. Great shot. Wieters. It takes a bad bounce off the mound. Throw to second. Not in time. They had the runner at the plate. Adam Jones cannot believe it. It hit the mound and went way up in the air. And as a result, a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, he actually gets to it very quickly, but he gets the throw a little bit lower, I think, than he intended. See, it goes down, and when it goes down, again, it hits the top of the slope of the back of the mound, goes up in the air, and not only do they get the run, they get another runner in scoring position. So a hanging curveball, a hanging splitter, and then bad luck. You could see the ball skip. And Matt Wieters, nice grab to keep it from going all the way to the backstop.
So Burns, who's hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position, a single, and RBI, goes to second on the throw. A's a run on 3 hits in the ball game. Coco Chris, one of those hits. He is 1 for 2. Jones robbed him of another hit his first time up. And here's another chance for them with that runner in great speed in Burns at second. Chris just back in the lineup yesterday, and already has picked up 3 hits in 6 at-bats. Hardy moving in on Burns, trying to keep him fairly close. Gonzalez delivers, and the pitch is going to miss inside. Adam Jones still thinking to himself out there, hands on hips, looking in. He thought he had him. He could see that when he came up and made the throw, Sogard was just rounding third. That pretty much tells you the story right there. Pitch on the way, and that is there for a strike. It'll catch the outside corner at the knees. So 1-3-0 now for the A's, 0-4-0 for the Orioles. Tight, well played game.
And this is what the A's do. I mean, they have the lowest starter ERA in the league. They pitch great here. Bassett's certainly put them in a position where they run here, run there. That's all you need.
They would love to get that run in from second right here. 2-ball, 1-strike delivery on the way. Just missed. Going for that outside corner again. It'll be taken for ball 3. 3-ball, 1-strike count on Chris. Get Vogt waiting on deck.
Yeah, see, and this is what the lack of run support does if you're Miguel Gonzalez. It makes you work. It makes every pitch mean so much. And when you look on deck, you see another guy that's well over 300 runners in scoring position, in Stephen Vogt.
3-1. Burns may have him. Throw. Ooh, close. He was going.
Yeah, he got him leaning. I mean, he was just trying to lean because there's 2 outs. And of course, with his speed, he's not going to steal. I mean, this is just try to get a good jump right there. I'm going, and then a little quicker move, and it's a good throw.
Yep, right on the money.
Yeah.
Vogt has really had a great secondary lead out there, and the Orioles seeing that put the play on. As Burns keeping an eye on Hardy behind him. Hardy's trying not to give up that shortstop hole because Chris, we've seen him go that way already in the ball game for a base hit. Shoot that ball to the left side, so Hardy's got to both hold the runner and then try and get back to the shortstop position. Burns a little tighter now. Gonzalez, the delivery. That's a bouncer, and Wieters caught it on the big hop, and he's on.
Yeah, the at-bats, I think, that preceded this, I think, kind of warning signs for Miguel Gonzalez. He had lined out. Great play by Adam Jones. He spikes this one, and then Matt Wieters able to flag it down, and Billy Burns gets back immediately. They had Wallace out. So once again, Vogt comes up in a very key situation. Struck out his last time. Well, actually struck out his both times, but the other one with the runner in scoring position. So what do we want to do? All those tough games, because you can't give up any more.
So a big at-bat here in the 5th inning. A run already in. RBI by Burns on the base hit. He's at second. The walk to Chris. RBI picked up with 2 away. And now Stephen Vogt, 2 strikeouts, 2 on, 2 down. Long look. And the pitch will be inside.
Yeah, such amazing how a couple of pitches. Miguel's now thrown, 82 pitches. There's been the hanging curve ball to Sogard, the splitter that set up to Burns, and other than that, he's pitched really well.
And a step off.
Look at those numbers from Stephen Vogt. 348. A bunch of home runs and RBIs.
1-0 count. Hardy really holding the runner tight at second, or as tight as he can. Burns gets as big a secondary lead as I've seen this year, and that's to his credit. He will wait, but boy, once he thinks the pitcher's going to the plate, he jumps 2-3 steps off second base and is a third of the way down the baseline. He really moves. Obviously, that's great to get yourself in a scoring position, but you got to be careful. of that. Hardy did not move in to take a throw. You watching. Always moving, get right on the balls of his feet, ready to go. Got 2 down. What Gonzalez wants now is vote the hitter. Pitch on the way, and that'll be off the end of the back, cued foul. Both of these pitchers really slow it down when runners get on base. And there are 2 of them, and that's the best speed the A's have right now on the base paths. 2-1 delivery on the way by Gonzalez. Goes the other way as that one came in on the hands.
Yeah, another good. That's the pitch he struck him out the last time. Fastball the first time. He's only going to be, if he gets out of this inning, a couple of pitches more than what he usually averages. Because Ghana popped the first pitch up and then so hard doubled on the second one.
2-2. But waiting on it, and he goes down again. So Gonzalez has struck him out 3 times in the ball game. 5 Ks for Miguel, and 2 are left on with a run in. The A's up. The Yankees over the Red Sox 13-3. McCann, a big night, their catcher. The 2 for 5. Tanaka, 3 runs, 5 hits over 6. The Jays, you think they're getting any help from Donaldson and Tulowitzki as they beat the Twins 3-1 tonight? And the Rays won, beating the White Sox as Chris Archer, a couple of runs, 6 hits over 7. 4 home runs for Tampa Bay in the ball game.
And then, of course, Chris Archer, one of the better young pitchers in baseball. You got to beat him exactly where the Tigers did last week, 2-1.
So the Orioles 5.5 behind New York, need a win here to stay 5.5. Toronto also 5.5 out. Tampa Bay 7.5. Orioles bat down 1-0. Here's Jones. Adam will bunt for a base hit, and it will stay foul. He has hit into a double play and grounded out. 3 hits in the ball game last night for him. His 10th 3-hit ball game of the season.
Yeah, this is a whole different story tonight. I mean, Chris Bassett has written a whole new chapter. That's how good he's been. Very few hittable pitches. When he's got in trouble, he's been able to make great pitches to get out of him. Chris has made a nice defensive play out and left. And you really get an idea, is even though he can throw as hard as 95, you don't know what's coming. He's mixed his pitches up so well through the first 5.
Adam back in. Bassett's delivery to him. No bunting on that one. Adam trying to tie it up on one swing of the bat.
Well, that's one of the few balls in the middle of plate, bell high, and Adam talking to himself, going, "Yep, that was my pitch."
Gonzalez looking for a little offensive support here. As we've said, he's had a lot of this year. And Jones will go down on the breaking ball, tagged out to be sure. And the strikeout is the 5th for Bassett.
So one pitch to hit, tried to bunt on the first one, and then this one. There you go. 20 miles per hour slower. Where do you want to throw it? Under the zone? Exactly where he did.
That'll bring Chris Davis up. Davis with the double and a walk in the ball game. 1-3-0 for the A's, 0-4-0 for the Orioles, with the pitchers dominating here in game 2 after the Orioles had 9 runs, 14 hits last night. Chris fouls that one right straight back into the screen. The big cut.
And a lot of strikes. 83 pitches, 51 in the zone, 32 out.
Pitch on the way to him will be way outside.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's really comfortable, Gary, up and in, where Voit went with the glove.
And where you need to go to.
Yes, well, that is, doesn't mean you won't get him out, but he will have some good swings if you stay out over the plate. Be very surprised unless you really change speeds well.
And Davis will take that pitch up.
That's understandable. I mean, first year in the big leagues, probably again to his arm side. That's a comfort zone. To the glove side, which is up and into lefties. Even on right-handers, he's more comfortable to the arm side because of that late run on the sinker. But he can get you out with it, especially the curveball. But he even shown us a changeup tonight.
Davis will put it up in the air towards center. Burns is there to put it away. 2 down here in the 6th inning. As promised earlier in the game, we've selected our Dad is Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to O's Couch Cam, and you might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile.
I think that was a little, what do you call it when you have the words? Orioles are number 1, and that's what I say.
Right there.
Yeah.
Double barrel action. Here's Matt Wieters. Matt's 0 for 2 in the ball game, 0 for 7 in the first 2, and will take the 92-mile-an-hour strike. Defense shifts on the count, playing him to pull, move back the other way a bit, and then he comes in with the off-speed delivery. Well, you got to like this 26-year-old.
Oh yeah. Well, hard, soft, don't know what's coming. There you go. Really mixed him up nice. That's against lefties.
Came in hard in at 95. So up to 89 pitches thrown, and he has not followed the number we told you earlier, how Bassett had been hit up. Once he got by just a 45 pitch count, with the average has jumped up on him this year. Not tonight. Orioles only the 4 hits in the ball game, 1 extra base hit, the double by Davis leading off the second, and the Orioles could not get him home.
That was his skipper Bob Melvin, and of course, Bob is a former catcher. He knows how well Chris Bassett is performing tonight.
0-2 delivery on the way, and just enough to stay alive.
Yeah, the other factor, if you were with us last night and you watched the Orioles hit, came to I call it the Coliseum. What is it? The OC.com, whatever.
O.co.
Oh, okay.
O.co.
Okay, there you go. They came here last night. Orioles put on an offensive show. That's not a typical road game. No. Only 3.8 runs a game. That was a Camden Yards performance last night.
Chris Davis, part of that with a home run last night. That one will be bounced at the plate.
Well, the good news is one swing, double, followed by any kind of base hit, and you might have yourself a tie game.
And a really bad bullpen. And if the O's can get into that bullpen, the chances of getting runs are going to be a whole lot better than they are against Chris Bassett. 2 ball, 2 strike count. Now Wieters has fought off a couple of pretty good pitches. Right-hander's delivery to him, and another K. So Bassett's got 6 strikeouts. He retires the side in order, and it remains a 1-0 A's lead.
Closely contested game here. Adam Jones, 4 Gold Gloves, takes away a hit from Coco Crisp, as Coco would do later. Seen enough of you. And then right here, here's Coco off of the bat of Gerardo Parra. So that's even. And so is the game until you get into the 5th inning. Double by Sogard, hanging splitter. Looks like it might be a play at the home, and the ball hits the back of the mound, skips up. Those are your Geico game highlights. 15 minutes good to save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote.
Clock says 2-1 pitch. Miguel Gonzalez. Butler is walked and flied out. DH rips one, but it's foul. As all good pitchers will say, just a long strike.
Well, you know that, but you're going, okay, so what exactly happened there? Billy goes, you know what, I'm tired of this nonsense. They gave me a 3-year deal to be their DH, and I got to swing like one.
He did.
He hits it 50 feet foul. The thing with Billy, I mean, when he played for Kansas City, he did have the 1 year with a lot of home runs, but other than that, he was a double machine.
Well, last year he only had 9 home runs.
Yeah, and but 32 doubles, and a couple of years 51, 45, 44. He's actually a pretty good hitter.
Very good
for Kansas City's ballpark, because it's huge.
That one down the line to right field. Parra's got a long way to go. It is gone. Goodbye, home run or 2. It's a double. Pick the bounce.
Yeah, ground rule double. Parra turned around, and then the ball slicing away from him, and it gets down that corner. He's a little dark there. He had no chance of catching it. So, okay, let's hit one foul, and then we'll go the other way.
Number 17.
And it just short hops the wall and caroms into the stands.
So, lead-off double.
Yeah.
Here in the 6th inning. And any run, obviously, at this point, enormous. And that's just what we were talking about, the doubles hitter. This is another ballpark like Kansas City where you got a lot of room to be able to hit those. And here's Ike Davis, 0 for 2, is hit into a double play, and he is struck out. And Davis will take the pitch inside for a ball.
So you know what he's trying to do. He's trying to hit one to the right side, get Butler over, which will force Bud Solo and the Orioles to bring the infield in, make it tougher with Brett Laurie on deck.
1 for 4, runners in scoring position tonight. Davis, a little roller. Runner's got to stay. Manny Machado makes sure and gets the out. The runner does not get moved up in an unproductive out. On Wednesday, August 19, all fans at the 7:05 game against the Mets are going to get the Manny Machado, Jonathan Scope Handshake Orioles t-shirt. Celebrate these young stars' signature on-field greeting and add to your Birdland wardrobe. Tickets at Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD.
Again, Chaz Rowe getting loose down the right field line here in Oakland. Yeah, that was not a very good at bat. Pitcher's pitch, you chase it. Don't get the runner over. Doesn't mean they won't get a run, but makes it a little bit harder for Brett Lawrie.
Lawrie has flied out, been denied a hit.
Wow.
And has also
I think he got crossed up.
That'll bring Wieters out to say, let's go over this.
Yeah, to man on second. Actually, it was a heck of a curveball. But Matt thought, I think, it was going to be a fastball. He went up and then down and catches it. Check this out. Whoops.
Still got the call.
Well, he still caught it. If it's the other way around, if you're looking curveball and a guy throws a fastball, it might have gone right off the chest protector or the umpire.
Lawrie, 323 with runners in scoring position. Good number. Off second base with a good lead. Butler, who is not of speed. And a foul ball off the mask that time of Wieters. Again, trying to drill it with one of those big cuts. And the count goes to 0-2. Always have a chance with a strikeout here with Brett Lawrie up. A willingness to chase some pitches and to swing early gets him into these pitcher counts.
And then you got a kid, 3 for 30, his last 35 on deck. So pretty big out here if you can get it. And you, with 2 strikes, try to pitch out of the zone. Hope he chases it.
0-2 delivery is going to be wrapped towards the gas. And that's going to fall in. All the way to the 400-foot mark. Laurie's going to take a look at third. Going to do more than look at it. He's going to go in with a triple and an RBI, and the A's have a 2-0 lead.
So not a lot of bad pitches, but when your team doesn't score runs, doesn't take much. That's the third one. 0-2 pitch. Didn't get it anywhere where he wanted to. I mean, the target's up, but it's just a high fastball, but it's in the middle of the plate. It's not up and in. It's just out over the plate. Very much like the home run that Chris Davis hit. A little bit more on it, and then all of a sudden Lawrie just smokes it.
So that'll be it for Miguel Gonzalez. Buck Showalter out to get him. And Chaz Rowe coming in for Lawrie, his second triple, 43rd RBI, gives the A's a 2-0 lead.
Pretty good stuff. Volk strikes out 3 times, mix up his pitches. Really, if you look at all the pitches tonight, close to 100, only 3 that stayed up. They were able to take advantage of it. Again, more fastballs than normal, less breaking balls, even though Sogard hit a curveball down the line, and then the changeup. Burns hit. So Chaz Rose comes on. Time for a little relief. And for your car too, visit Jiffy Lube for regular oil changes and help prevent damage and wear to your engine. Jiffy Lube. Drive in today. Fastballs and sliders. Only one of 15 inherited runners have scored. Infield in.
Infield drawn in. Runner at third base. Pitch will be taken for a strike. Chaz Rowe getting first batters out has been a bit of a problem. Not good for a reliever. Only 16 out of 25. And you usually come in where you need to get that first batter.
Even though, again, only the one inherited runner, so that's kind of an unusual number.
Yeah. Infield, way in.
Well, young hitter, and he's got a great slider. You would imagine he'd go to that right here.
And a swing and a miss, kept it down and away. May have foul tipped into it.
Because the book has to be, I mean, loves the slider. That's the number we talked about. And, you know, if you're up there around 25, 26%, that's a good number. So make your pitch here and take your chances.
Arcana at the plate. He has popped out a couple of times. Here's that ball player who wasn't supposed to be in the lineup tonight with a chance to do some damage. And he got him on the outside corner. So Rowe comes on and gets a big strikeout. 2 down.
Yeah, perfect pitch. It's all about executing your pitches if you're going to have success, especially if you have good stuff. So I think for Mark Canha, that was probably a little surprise. Never saw a breaking ball.
So Canha out of there. They're going to give the intentional pass to Sogard. With Simeon waiting on deck, the number 9 hitter and the shortstop. This will put runners on at first and third with 2 away. Just a matter of matchups here with Buck Showalter deciding on with Dave Wallace what they want to do.
Well, you still have a base open, so it's not like you're loading them up to pitch to Marcus Simeon.
And John Russell, you saw John there, the bench coach. The number of times these two chat in the course of, I mean, it's ongoing forever. I mean, Buck really he's got a former manager next to him, and John, very quiet, very observant, and always there to help. That's John helping to make the decision. His coaches throughout the ball game are always talking to one another about situations. So here's Simeon coming up. He has struck out and flied out. He's 0 for 5 in the 2 games. And obviously another very big at bat. First and third. Double by Butler to start the inning. With 1 away, Laurie got the triple to bring him home. And the intentional pass will be held at first base. And let Sogard to take off.
Yeah,
right-handed batter.
Typical year for him, Gary. 10, 11 steals. 3, 4 caught stealing. There's another low and away fastball.
That's a strike all night long for everybody. Pitch that's on the outside corner at the knees. Not good numbers for the youngster with runners in scoring position.
Well, that's why you have the pitch around or the intentional walk. And
Simeon waiting, delivery on the way. He got that one in and will pay for it. Way back in left field, and goodbye, home run. So Simeon rises to the challenge. The man in front of him intentionally walked. He gets the homer. And a 5-0 Oakland lead.
Well, Simeon wanted the hanging slider, and Chaz Rowe put it exactly where he could smoke it. Check this hanger out. I mean, you just cannot make a more hittable pitch with your breaking ball. And Marcus Simeon just doesn't miss it.
Simeon's got 10 home runs.
Well, that's why they got him. I mean, he's always swung the bat well. I mean, again, obviously with 29 errors, he's been challenged defensively, but Billy Beane, the one got out on him. I mean, he also got the guy pitching today, Chris Bassett, in the same trade for Jeff Samardzija. So both of them, big important part of this game.
So the runs here in this inning, there are 4 on the ball game. 3 will be charged to Gonzalez. 2 on that home run to Rowe, the home run and the intentional walk. Miguel, 3 runs, 5 hits, 5 1/3 innings. As Rowe delivery will be taken away. Burns, an RBI base hit by a pitch, and he is grounded out. This is an offensive explosion of great magnitude for the A's. They'll get 5 runs in a ball game. And the pitch is on the inside corner, jumped away, but it caught the corner.
Well, this is pretty much, if they're going to win, what they have to do. I mean, they got to pitch their tail off. And Chris Bassett has done this. Billy Burns last night struck out off of Tyler Wilson on a ball he thought might have been inside.
Pitch on the way, and he will walk.
But I've been out there when the other pitcher pitches like Chris Bassett is, it puts tremendous pressure on him. Every pitch means something. Every mistake is magnified, and we've seen that.
Now bullpen action. Dave Wallace, pitching coach, checking the charts. T.J. McFarland joining the club today. The left-hander gets up. Go Chris coming up. This will be the 8th A to bat here in the 6th inning. He's got a base hit, has walked and robbed of a hit. First time up by Adam Jones in center. Burns, the speedster, on to first base. And the pitch will be taken for a strike. Chris, no intention of swinging on that. Over Chaz Rowe, tough entry into the ball game, trying to keep it close. And then just a matter of strategy that backfired. Semien coming through with a long ball. Rowe has surrendered 3 home runs in the 30+ innings pitched. Burns is a threat to go. 5-0 lead here, 6th inning, 2 down.
Shaky bullpen, running situation.
He's got a good lead, and there he goes. Oh, what a jump. Throw down by Reed is a good one. Not in time.
Yeah, he did pretty much everything right. But that's what he does. Came in with 21 steals. There's another one. Tag up on the back. Throw a little bit late. Started the year at AA last year. Talk about a guy that has helped him, especially with Chris just get back from the elbow and the neck. Great angle right here.
4 times this year in the 26 chances on the base pass for Burns.
I guess they're going to replay it.
No, Buck Showalter wants to have them take a look at it.
Well, you're trying to get out of this inning some way, and
pretty safe
to me. Yep.
Oh, we'll wait. New York will take a look at this.
Well, you know, it's funny with Crisp at the plate. He took this pitch, so I mean, the right hand hits JJ's left spike, and it looks like the left hand gets in, and but Coco Crisp is one of their base stealers, and he said, okay, I've had a bad neck. I also hurt my elbow, had to have surgery. I'm not real good at sliding feet first, especially stealing bases. Very easy from that shot right there, how easy it is to get hurt. Coming in, hands first.
Used to like replays and challenges. I'm liking them less and less.
Well, I thought your idea when they started last year was to sell advertising time.
Yeah.
This replay brought to you by.
So much in sports of the momentum and the excitement of a moment's being taken away while we wait and wait and wait. I don't know.
It does take the human element out of it, doesn't it?
And it just takes the excitement. The spontaneity's gone.
Well, you're telling me I played for Earl Weaver.
Yeah.
And
same thing in football. I mean, the guy catches it in the end zone. Was he in? Was he out? You wait for 2.5 minutes, it seems like, and everybody does. What are you going to do after you've waited for 1.5 minutes? How do you celebrate? Throw the ball in the stands, go back to the bench, I guess. And in this case, it's like pitchers got to keep warming up, hitters meandering around somewhere. This is a long one.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's bang, bang, and Of course, they have to have pretty clear evidence to change it. We'll see how they view it. Yeah, I just think he's safe. I mean, the hand's just barely in before looked like J.J. Hardy hits him on the rear end or somewhere around the.
Wow. They said there was enough to call him out. That's what Buck said. You never know. That's why he challenged. So Burns is caught stealing for the 5th time, and that's a big play. Matt Wieters, that's the 5th he's caught in the 16 chances. Our Honda do-up, J.J. Hardy, Jimmy Paredes, Jonathan Scope. Five-hour energy shots. You tried great tasting 5-hour energy lately. And by visitAnnapolis.org. Find the Chesapeake experience at visitAnnapolis.org. Nighttime skies. And here in Oakland, Burns ends up with a caught stealing and ends the inning. 4 runs in, 3 hits. Nobody left on for the A's. And they have a 5-0 lead. Orioles being shut out by 26-year-old Chris Bassett in his 11th major league start, his 6th of the year. And that is in there for a strike. So the Orioles on the comeback trail here in the 7th. Hardy, Paredes, and Jonathan Scope. Hardy is grounded out and popped out. And the pitch is in there for a strike. A lot more leeway now for Bassett to throw strikes. Not that he hasn't already.
Well, he got 5 runs in his first 5 starts, and they got 5 runs in 1 inning for him.
Ground ball towards first on the late swing. Ike Davis. 1 down in the 7th inning. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Well, we'll see how deep the Orioles go in the bullpen. McFarland warming up. Obviously will be coming in. Paredes has struck out twice in the ball game. Designated hitter for the Orioles. Jimmy Paredes with a hit and RBI in the ball game last night. 1 for 6 in the first 2 games. Bassett's pitch to Sogard. Good out.
Well, that's what this running, sinking fastball can do for you. There's
Sam Folds playing in right now as the defensive change made.
Yeah, they take Kana out and put in Sam Fold, who can go get him.
Jonathan Scope.
Jonathan Scope coming up. A's trying to set up a rubber match for the day game tomorrow. And the fastball is going to be up high. Jonathan Scope 1 for 2. His base hit extended his hit streak to 4 games. 3 o'clock goes extra. 3:30 for the ball game tomorrow. Wei-Yin Chen, Kendall Graveman, scheduled starters in the ball game. 26-year-old has been in charge. The Orioles have had leadoff batters on a couple of times, including the second inning when Davis got a double, but Bassett retired the next 3, and that's the best scoring chance the Orioles have had in the game.
Yeah, his highest pitch total, and he's at 99, was 7 innings, 101 in his last start.
That ball is ripped to the gap. That's going to be in there for a base hit. It'll bounce off the wall on his way to second as Jonathan Scope, who continues to swing a real good bat. 2 for 3 in the game.
Yeah, he hit one up the gap the last time, and Chris, playing deep, was able to cut it down. Not this time. 2-0. He's pitching to the scoreboard, trying to throw a strike, and he's waiting. He just crisp double up the gap here.
A little conference at the mound with Snyder coming to the plate.
23, Travis Snyder.
Runner on at second base. There are 2 down. Orioles have yet to have a hit in these situations. They are 0 for 5. Bud gets up in the bullpen, just starting to throw, and apparently they want to draw a little time for him here.
Yeah, very quickly getting up and starting to throw. He's been one of their hottest pitchers. Kurt Young coming out. And they will also get a righty up, it appears.
So they'll give him a chance to get the final out. Fernando Rodriguez up.
He got the save in the game on Sunday when they got the walk-off 2-1 win.
Two down, runner at second base. Scope. Snyder has struck out, drawn a walk. And the pitch will miss inside for a ball. Travis at 238. Trying to stay ready, getting starts with long times in between, and late on the 93.
Yeah, again, I mean, only 3 for 34, didn't hit any home runs. I ran into former pitcher Pete Vukovich. He said, I scouted him last year. He had a terrific, that's last year, terrific year for the Pirates. I mean, he had a bunch of home runs, hit lefties, hit 13 home runs, did a lot of stuff. He's never been able to do that. Looked like early on, you know, pretty good idea. Line drives all over the place, high on base percentage, and then July came at 088.
Pitch on the way will be fouled back. So Chris Bassett, who's got 6 strikeouts, head on the count here. New high for him. Innings pitched this year. Started the season as a reliever and then turned into the starter. This 6th in a row now as a starter after 5 out of the bullpen. 1-2 delivery by Bassett, and that's the inning. He gets his 7th strikeout, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. 7th inning stretch time here in Oakland. to come this year. These are the remaining games against clubs with winning and losing percentages, home and road.
And then again, as you mentioned, one game behind the Twins and the Jays. Jays winning percentage at a little bit under 50% at .499. Teams are going to play, and then Twins at 51%.
You're wondering in the rankings now, the Reds and Giants have the two most difficult schedules. The Orioles are 12th, and the Nationals and Mets have the least of games left against teams at 500.
So T.J. McFarland on the pitch, up and down. You can see the righties. Boy, that's a number that's somewhat aberrational. It's usually a little bit higher. He's not a dominating lefty, but this year he's done a nice job of getting lefties out. He's not a Brian Madison. Sinker, curveball, occasional changeup.
Go Chris back at the plate where he was when Burns got caught stealing.
Yeah, because of that elbow and neck, he only had 49 bats coming in.
That'll be foul. Base hit, flied out, walk. Chris, Vogt, and Butler coming up. 2-3-4 in the lineup here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. A's on top. 5-6-0 for them. 0-5-0 for the Orioles. They've been held down by Bassett. He'll be coming out of the ball game for someone out of the bullpen. That'll be a grounded to short on the big hop. Hardy's got it. And Coco Crisp is the first out of the 7th. Tickets are now on sale for the Orioles Hall of Fame luncheon Friday, August 14, beginning at noon in the warehouse. Luncheon will honor Melvin Mora, Gary Renicky, John Lowenstein, Fred Elman Sr. They'll be honored that evening. Special on-field ceremonies as well. For the luncheon tickets, 410-247-2703. Go to Orioles.com. Stephen Vogt coming up. He has struck out 3 times. Golden sombrero looms. He doesn't want it.
No.
Shift on, and the pitch will be inside for a ball.
Of course, the fallback position steered my 26-year-old right-hander in his 6th major league start through 7 shutout innings, and he did.
He's done that.
He did do that,
and he's not going to get the sombrero either. That's Hardy in the shift. And there are 2 down. This has been a ballpark where the Orioles over the years have had trouble winning ball games. Obviously, part of that because Oakland's had some outstanding teams here. You go back to 1999, the Orioles, the only ballpark where they've had more problems winning is Progressive Field. They are 22-45 here in the Oakland Coliseum since '99. 22-45.
Oh, what the last 16 season series, 14 losses, 1 win. Even last year when they won 96 games, they still lost to the A's 4 games to 2. But you're right. I mean, if you look at these A's, they were wild card last year, same record as Kansas City. Those, of course, with 88 wins, would go all the way to the World Series. Michael Gibbons, we saw last night. It was terrific. Year before division. So you're right. Good club.
Tough team. Pitch is taken for a strike. Butler has a double. A run scored, has walked and flied out. Burns has picked up an RBI single in the game. The big blow, of course, the 3-run homer by their shortstop, Simeon, down to first base. Davis go to the bag. That'll retire the side. 3 ground ball outs. We go to the top of the 8th inning with the Orioles being shut out. We serve today for a better tomorrow. And by Navy Federal Credit Union, proudly serving the armed forces and their families for over 80 years. Coast Guard protecting the maritime economy and the environment, and defends our maritime borders. Thank them for their work and for all in the armed services.
Number 13.
Here in Oakland, Old Glory up and out. Bassett, the starter, out.
Yeah, what a performance, and the kind of the exclamation mark on that night was his last strikeout of Travis Snyder at 96 miles per hour. So he pitches great. Fernando Rodriguez comes on, and Tommy John surgery, and he missed actually all of 2013. Real good curveball. He's pitched pretty well for him. So you can see Loeb averages both righties and lefties.
And Rodriguez works in the 8th inning to the top of the order. Manny Machado a base hit. 1 for 3, up to 292 on the year now for the Oriole third baseman. And will be popped up first base side. Handled by Ag Davis. Couple of pitches and an out. Follow the Orioles wherever you are with MLB.com at bat, #1 app for live baseball. Up to the moment at any moment, in-game highlights, live look-ins, StatCast, replay reviews, and more. MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. Gerardo Parra stands in. Parra is single, flied out, and grounded out. Orioles winners of 8 of 10. They'll need a monster comeback here in this one. In at third base, Laurie, just in case. And Parra will take the pitch up high for a ball.
Yeah, he had an opportunity in a nothing game. 2 outs, and Chris Bassett got him out with a 69-mile-per-hour curveball. And on second, chance to possibly put the Orioles ahead.
Rodriguez, the 1-0 pitch will be popped up foul and out of play.
You can see he's got a pretty good fastball, 93, 94. He was able to get it on Manny Machado's fist, which not too many pitchers do.
And the 1-1 up and hit underneath, Fowler right straight back into the screen. He's hoping for some help in this bullpen here to finish out the season, because it's been as bad as it has been. There are a lot of openings. It's a great chance for some of these pitchers to show Bob Melvin why they should be there in times to come. They are 13th in ERA for a bullpen this season. 1-2 delivery on the way, and a grounder to short. Coming out makes the play, 2 down. With the bases empty, Adam Jones looked for his first hit of the night. Adam has had an 0 for 3 in the ball game, couple on the ground, one a double play, and the other one he struck out on. Came in hitting 300 in this ballpark for his career with a couple of home runs. Two down, bases are empty. That one to center field, hit hard. Burns back at the wall and makes the catch. A 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. 5-0 A's.
Thank you to all United States
Wrap up this 3-game set. Wei and Chen will take the mound. It'll be against Hendel. Gravman will be on the mound. Our coverage on Masson, 3:30. 3 o'clock, O's Extra, presented by Jeep. Game at 3:30. All the access you need right here on Masson.
So there are your numbers. Kendall Gravman, recently acquired. Chen, of course, Wei still trying to get to 500, coming off a game where he did not pitch to his capabilities. And if you look at the out of the A's 8-19 against left-handed starter.
Bottom half of the 8th inning. Mike Davis 0 for 3. The Orioles have been shut out 6 times so far this season. They'll try and avoid that in the 9th. That's going to be down into the corner. Carl went right after it, got by him. It'll roll around. Davis going to second base. It's a double.
Yeah, he got all over that. It looked like a fastball, just stayed up, and I mean, it's up and in, and he just turns on it. It's like the Lucas Duda swing right here. Inside middle, quick bat. Well, it might be catchable, but it just got by far and right very, very quickly.
So a runner at second to lead off the 8th inning. Laurie with an RBI triple in the 6th inning. He's 1 for 2 and a walk in the game. Laurie's hit the lefties at a .290 clip, about 30 points higher than against right-handers. So big offensive night here for the A's, finding their bats. Gonzalez 3 runs, 5 hits, 5 1/3. Rowe 2 runs, 1 hit, 2 walks, 1 intentional in 2/3 of an inning. Laurie will take the pitch, and it is in there for a strike.
And the vast majority of hits, the Laurie, that was an 0-2 pitch. Just got it in the middle of the plate, belt high. So guard, Gonzalez was ahead of him, hung a curveball, splitter to Burns, was a 1-strike pitch. So it's not like they've gotten behind guys, they just haven't made good pitches regardless of the count, and the A's have done a great job of hitting them. Meanwhile, Bassett was terrific. He pitched the first 7. Looking for his first win.
Pitch on the way, and that is taken for a strike, and Laurie is gone. McFarland gets the K, 1 down in the 8th inning.
Perfect pitch, a little extra, 93, right on the corner.
Sam Full came on as a defensive replacement, so this is going to be his first at bat. Fold up with the runner on at second. Manny Machado moves in. He's got good speed, can bunt, and hitting only 115 against lefties. Pitch from McFarland is in there for a strike. Leone in the bullpen, joining the ball club yesterday. Fold will take it, and that's going to be a strike at 91 at the knees. And quickly the count goes to 0-2. Davis out there at second base with that leadoff double. Bud has been up a couple of times now. And a chopper, that'll go foul. Fold a lot of games, of course, against the Orioles while he was playing in the American League East in Tampa. Always a tough out. Puts on some quality at bats. And he'll take it foul. Like Davis, plenty of room to roam off second here. Outfield shallow as usual, especially on Fold, who fights off another one.
Yeah, Parra can throw, Jones can throw, and Travis Snyder in left. See how shallow he is. Particularly strong arm. And then Ike Davis. Below average speed.
very nice of you.
I didn't say slow. I mean,
no. That'll be inside to him. So Fold fighting off some pitches. Takes it to a 1-ball, 2-strike count. 7 hits on the board now for the A's with their 5-0 lead. Orioles have had their hits scattered. 1 in the first, 1 in the second, couple in the 5th inning, and another one in the 7th. And a chopper. Runner will head over to third. Scope will go to first and get the out. 2 down.
Yeah, we look at the scoreboard out there. Houston lost again to the Rangers. The Rangers back at 500. Made a nice comeback.
Now batting second baseman, number 28, Eric.
And then the Indians down south where the Orioles will go eventually. It's 0-0 in the 9th. That was Shoemaker and Carrasco for the Indians.
Here is Sogard with a runner at third base. Sogard has double scored, drew an intentional pass and scored. Flied out. Big moment in the ball game. A decision to intentionally walk Sogard to get to Simeon, the shortstop, and he hit a 3-run homer. And that really opened this ball game up. McFarland delivers to him, and that's a grounder foul. This Oakland team, we talked about their run differential coming into this. All time in baseball, teams that were 10 games below 500 with a run differential at a plus. The Oakland A's are 3rd all time with a worst record with a plus run differential. That ball will be fouled back. Got to go back to 32 in the New York Giants and 84 the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, they came in 31 more runs than they had given up. 441, 410, but it's all those run losses.
That makes for a tough, long season. Players and managers.
And they did it early. Started out 1-13 on those 1-run losses, so they set the tone.
They've got 13 shutouts. I mean, that shows how well they pitched. They've been shut out 7 times and have 13 shutouts to their credit. Sogard will take the pitch. It is in there for a strike. McFarland gets it done. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and a base runner left on. The Orioles come up, 3 outs to work with. We go to the 9th. They're being shut out. For the achiever in you. Gary Thorne and Jim Palmer here in Oakland, about to try and finish it up.
Yeah, 89, 90 mile per hour fastball, hard slider, changeup. Comes out of the Washington National Organization, 2nd year with Oakland. Again, the numbers, you can see almost a strikeout per innings. And in his last 9 games, whole different story. Actually, 10 games, hasn't given up a run. That's over 10 2/3 innings. So then one of those guys, talked about bullpen a little bit better the second half. Only runs in 2 of his last 20 games. So been very consistent for Bob Melvin and the A's.
Rodriguez worked an inning, 0s across. And the Orioles fan section down there, the end of the bench. Chris Davis will lead it off. Davis a double, 1 for 2 and a walk. Bond's delivery to him is there for a strike. Orioles trying to avoid the 7th shutout of the year. Held to 5 hits. They've left 6 on base, 3 in scoring position tonight, right off the end of the bat and foul. Abad has faced the Orioles in the past. He has not allowed a run. 6 games, 4 1/3 innings in his career against the Orioles.
Yeah, he is not an overpowering lefty, but he can make some pitches. The story with Chris Davis does a great job. 292 against lefties. He will be tested here.
Bond's delivery is going to be outside. The Orioles need base runners here. A long way to go for a comeback. J.J. Hardy in the hole behind Wieters. Bond's delivery just missed outside. Though Chris Bassett waiting to see if he gets the win. He'll be 1 and 4. Gonzalez would take the loss. He'll be 9 and 8. Bassett would get his 2nd major league win, 1st of the year. Gonzalez, his first decision against Oakland, if it stays this way. Reaching to protect and fouled it off. Good cut to even get the bat on that ball. It was down and away. Tonight's crowd, 16,383. So last night, the smallest crowd of the year at 11,004. Up to 16,4 in this one. Davis takes it, didn't go. So Chris works it to a 3-ball, 2-strike count after falling behind in the first 2. He's facing Abad for the first time. Three-2 came at him, foul back.
Yeah, he doesn't walk a whole lot of guys. His whip, that's walks and hits per inning, is under 1. Only 7 walks, 2/3 innings.
Gonna have 4 home runs to the first batter he faces. 12 RBIs.
He's got a good guy to do it right here.
Yeah, could add one here. Won't though. Bad gets the K.
Yeah, and just trying to throw his strikes relaxes. And I watched him pitch last week. He never got to 93.
Now batting.
You can see again when you fall off like this. Look at him. He's almost going into their dugout. You know that he's going to be better to the glove side of the plate, which is down and away to lefties.
Matt Wieters has seen about once, 0 for 1. Matt's got an 0 for 3 in this game and 0 for 8 in the first 2. And we'll foul that back for a strike. So the A's a couple of outs away from setting up the rubber match for tomorrow's day game. 3 o'clock goes extra, 3:30 the ball game. It'll be on Masson. Wieters down to 3rd, foul. Got jammed, may have broken the bat. Will bounce one. 1 and 2, the outfield deep. Cut off any potential extra base hits if they can. Abad misses way outside. That ball to short, base hit. It'll be handled in left field by Chris, and Wieters has the single. So the Orioles get a runner on here in the 9th inning with 1 down, and Matt gets his first hit of this series. We'll bring up J.J. Hardy. Hardy's had an 0 for 3 in this one. J.J. with a couple of hits in the ball game last night. One of those hits was his 1,300th hit, and it meant something to J.J. He had the ball taken out of the ball game and marked, and he's going to give it to his parents in Anaheim on the next series. Pitch is taken for a strike. Caleb Joseph out to pinch hit for Paredes. 1 down, 1 on. And Abad misses outside with it.
Yeah, it is very. I mean, even though what righties are hitting 146 off him, but he goes to his right so quickly. It can't. Unless he's throwing a changeup, hard to throw the ball down and away to right-handers.
Got that one in, and that's going to be a base hit. So Hardy comes through, and the Orioles get 2 on here in the 9th inning with only 1 away.
And that's looks like it's going to get their bullpen up here in Oakland. Again, we talked about it. I mean, it's hard to get down and away when you're falling that much to the right. So JJ gets a hit.
Now batting.
Yeah. Edward Mujica, out of the Cardinals to the Red Sox. He is their closer. Loves the splitter. Used to get into these situations when you're on the road and you go, let's give them a finish. They got to get 27 outs, and they've only gotten 25 of them.
Correction, the batter is Caleb Joseph.
So Caleb Joseph will come on as the pinch hitter. Caleb had the big 2 for 4, 3 RBIs with a home run. Good for 2 of them. Joseph will take the pitch outside. Caleb's had the hot bat, especially late in ball games.
Yeah, he says, you got a really big strike zone. They keep throwing the ball in the inside quarter to me. He keeps hitting home runs. Red hot. And here comes Kurt Young again, pitching coach for the A's. He's going to give Mujica a little bit of time right here, just in case the Orioles. But again, your direction to the plate, your front shoulder, it's going right. It is very hard to get your lane anywhere but on the inside part of the plate to your glove side. Let's see if the Orioles can take advantage of that. You need to have a huge inning to tie it.
If you're going to have one, this is the bullpen to do it against. This is what happens when the bullpen's been this bad, even in this kind of a ball game over there on the bench. The Bob Melvin pitching coach are always worried. Swing and a miss. Caleb Joseph swinging through on that one. Caleb, as a pinch hitter, has had only 1 chance at it, 0 for 1 in a pinch hitting role this year. Brady's had an 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. First and second occupied, 1 down. Bud's delivery and a swing and a miss and a pitch. Ate him up, down and in.
Yep. Well, that's the slider. And where was it? It was down and in. But again, the breaking ball, you can throw it under the zone. He did.
Wieters off second base, Hardy off first. We're in the 9th. 5-0 A's lead, 1 out. Joseph fights it off back into the screen on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
And so a lot of fastballs. So there was 93 of the righties. And low number. 146 batting average. Actually better than against the left-hander.
Field deep. A lot of room to plunk one in. Caleb Joseph. Pitch on the way to him, and that's going to be up high. Good patience. But really having to work here. 21 pitches thrown. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Jonathan Schoop has got a hot bat waiting on deck.
And then the Edward Mujica warming up. He's 0-2 with a blown save and 7 earned runs in 11 innings. If he came off the DL, so he's been struggling. Something you talked about there, bullpen.
2-2 and a changeup. How about that?
Yeah, and a good one. Floated it in there at 74. 19 miles per hour slower than the fastball he throws up and in. Just pulls the string. And again, big arm action and then the floater.
So 2 down. And Jonathan Schoop. Schoop's had a double single and 3 times to the plate. 2 on, 2 down, 9th inning. And the pitch will be outside for a ball. At least this be the final out if it happens. Don't want to miss McFarland. Reimold on deck. McFarland, a couple of good innings in relief, joining the ball club today. Gave up 1 hit, had a couple of strikeouts. On in relief of Chaz Rowe, who came on for Gonzalez.
And a little breaking ball. So fastball command very iffy. Going to the secondary pitches.
Two down, 1 ball, 1 strike count. And under the arms on that one. Wieters and Hardy are the base runners for the Orioles. Trying to get on the board, at least get one. And avoid this shutout. And he's found out that works.
Well, not only does he, just kind of float it up there, he throws it for a strike. He's thrown 2 of them, and one was a strikeout to Caleb Joseph. And this isn't a 2-1 count where he needed to throw a strike, and he just drops it on the outside corner. What does that set up this at bat? Jonathan Schoop not having any idea what's coming. There's another one.
Number fouled away. Schoop reaching on the last 2, trying to keep the at-bat alive.
So in really about, 7-8 games, we saw the Alfredo Simon eephus pitch. And here's another one. Back-to-back eephus. Change-ups.
2-2 delivery on the way, and another one. This will go to right field, and this ball game is over. Sam Fold makes the catch. No runs. Couple of hits. No errors. 2.